Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Tamoya, how you doing?
Good, good. So this is your off season too, right?
Yes, it is. So it's been a long season, and I look forward to getting a little bit of a break now.
So now that the Angels are in the off season, they're not playing in the playoffs. What do you do in the off season, and what's your schedule like?
Well, it's pretty unpredictable because mainly my schedule is to write about whatever the Angels do, and we never know when they're going to do something, when they're going to make a trade or sign a free agent or hire somebody or fire somebody. Those things sort of come out of nowhere. So I'm sort of on call for that kind of stuff. But a lot of days that doesn't even happen. And in October, really, none of that happens because in October, there are hirings and firings, but I think the Angels are probably not going to have any significant ones in that area. And there's no real player moves happening in October because all the playoffs are going on. So that really starts in November. So in October, I do help out a little bit with the Dodgers, when the Dodgers are in the playoffs and the Angels aren't. And otherwise, I just kind of take some downtime and recharge a little bit.
What are your thoughts on this year's playoffs?
I mean, I always think the playoffs are interesting. There's always a lot of good teams. I think that there's because baseball only has 10 teams that make it as opposed to like hockey or basketball that have 16. Pretty much everybody who's in is a pretty good team, and anybody has a chance to beat anybody, and especially in a short series. I definitely think it's going to be pretty entertaining. I hope it is. I mean, the Dodgers Cardinals wild card game was pretty good. So hopefully we get to see some more good games.
What are your thoughts on the Dodgers?
They're always very good. I mean, I think that they've, losing Kershaw hurts and losing Max Muncy hurts, but they're a good, really deep team with a lot of good players, and it's going to be hard to knock them out.
Who do you think is going to win the World Series?
Well, I picked the Padres at the beginning of the year, so that didn't work out very well. I think the White Sox also were a team that I thought was going to be really good, but I didn't really like the way they were playing down the stretch run. So I'm going to take the Milwaukee Brewers. It's kind of a out of the box pick, but I just think that they have a really solid team, and I think that they've been nice and rested because they haven't really been pushed, through September. And I think things just kind of line up nicely for them. So I'm going to take the Brewers.
You've covered the major leagues for a long time. What are the keys to winning the World Series? What kind of teams actually get to the end?
Everybody wants to say there's some like special formula that, you need X, Y, and Z to win the World Series, but I just think you need to be playing well. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have all good starting pitchers or all good relief pitchers or have a great lineup. You need to have some of everything, and they need to just perform well over a short series. There's a big difference between 162 games and 5 or 7 games. And as much as people like to say that it's, a one game, wild card is unfair, it's a crapshoot, it's really 5 games or 7 games are also a crapshoot. So you just need to be playing well and get some breaks.
What are the most interesting storylines this year in the playoffs?
I think the Giants are really interesting just because they're such a team that came out of nowhere and they had such a good record. And the fact that the Giants are going to play the Dodgers in a series, which they have not done ever in the postseason in a real series. So that's going to be kind of cool. The Astros obviously are always interesting because they still have the cheating thing hanging over them. So everybody's going to be rooting against them. So there's kind of some friction there. And, I think it's always entertaining.
Hey, viewers, tell us what you think about this year's playoffs. We'd love to know what you think. Please write in the comment section below. You mentioned how the Giants are an interesting team. Do you think what the Giants have done this year is applicable to other teams? Are there anything that you think other teams can learn from them?
Well, I think the one thing that people should take from that is that you don't necessarily need to just go out and make the biggest splash in the offseason and get the best players in the offseason, the guys that look the best on paper, because the Giants didn't really do that. They didn't really get anybody that would make anybody think, oh, wow, they sure improved themselves a lot. They're going to be a really good team. They just picked really well, and everybody they picked worked. And all the guys that they had coming back, they're veteran guys, all had really good years, even though they were getting kind of older. So it's sort of a perfect storm of things going right. So that can obviously happen to any team. So, it's hard. You don't expect it, but certainly there's a reason for any team to believe, we could sign a couple guys that look like they're kind of not spectacular, and they could blossom and have good years. And if it happens all at once, then all of a sudden you have a really good team.
Do you think that was mostly due to luck, or do you think it was mainly front office decisions?
Well, it's both. There's certainly front office makes the best decisions they can make, but all front offices make the best decisions they can make, and they all put a lot of thought into it, and it doesn't always work. So to have your decisions all come out on the plus side, there is some luck involved in that.
So you don't think there's much difference among front offices?
Oh, I'm sure there is, but they're all putting a ton of work into all these moves and a ton of research into everything. So, it's hard to really say which ones, you need a real long sample size to figure out which ones are doing it the best. And you don't really get that because they move around so much. Like if you had every front office staff could be in charge of a team and do everything a certain way for 30 years, then you would have a really good indication of what was best and what isn't. But they don't. They stick around for like 3 or 4 years and they all move around. And so you don't really know what, definitively works the best.
What have you noticed about how front offices in the major league in the major leagues work compared to, let's say, 30 years ago?
Obviously, there's a lot more analytics that goes into it. There's a lot more just looking at the raw numbers rather than sort of the eyeball analysis of, this guy looks good, so we think he's going to be good. I think there's a lot more into it, and computers and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it actually works better. I don't know if front offices are any more accurate in predicting if players are going to be good or not, but they certainly put a lot more effort into it, I think, than they used to.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos. You can also watch our past videos from the description below. Hope to see you again next time.